Hi, my name is Jimmy Williams with NFL Draft Diamonds. And I have a diamond in the rough for you guys to meet today. His name is Timothy Williams Jr. He is an edge rusher out of Mississippi Valley State. How you doing, man?
How you doing, Mr. Jimmy?
Doing well. It's nice to get another Williams up in here. Obviously we're related. But no, I'm just playing, man. This is going to be a lot of fun. We're going to get a chance to meet you and share your story. A very interesting one at that. Mississippi guy, and you end up, kind of bouncing around in the Mississippi area. Uh, Obviously landing there with Mississippi Valley State. And being a pretty good edge rusher at that. So, Tim, why don't you start us off? Tell us where you're from and start us out in your journey.
Hello. I'm from Metcalf, Mississippi, which is a small town outside of Greenville, Mississippi. Um, I'm a I'm a brother of a host of sisters. I wish I had a brother. My
I'll be your
mother,
brother.
yeah, my mother's name is Veronica Kenny Lewis. She's married to my stepfather, Travis Lewis. My father's name is Timothy Williams Sr. He's married to my stepmother, Desanya LaShore Williams. Um, I have, I don't even want, if I can't name sisters, I miss somebody.
We're good, man. Just so obviously Mississippi guy. In my notes, I have that you went to O'Bannon High School.
Yes, I
Yeah.
did. Yeah.
So what do you remember most about those days?
The most relevant things I remember is just high school football and going through days in high school.
So, was it just football? I mean, were you part of anything else, any other sports or any other activity?
I played football, basketball, baseball, and ran track.
Interesting.
I also was a part of the student government as well.
Interesting. So, basketball, baseball, track, and also student government.
Yes, sir.
That's definitely an interesting one. So, uh, basketball, baseball, track, obviously a lot different than football. Football is a sport that you do the best out of all of those, of course. So, um,
Yes.
but you did dabble in those a little bit in the early years and certainly decided to pursue football. So I guess the question is, why did you pursue football, man? What is it about the game of football you love the most?
I say just I I I grew loving into loving football over the years just from it being a contact sport. Like with me and basketball, I knew it wasn't going to be something that I can just be hands on good at because if I touched the person too hard, it was going to be a foul.
Yeah,
Um,
it's not like
and
you
I,
could suplex a guy on the court. I
oh
get
no, you can't even look at them too hard.
definitely not as physical as football.
No,
And I think that's one of the draws of football. It's just kind of like I don't know, the raw physical contact, that you get out of the game. So Tim, let's continue to walk through your journey. You're at Urbana High School in Mississippi, and then from there you end up actually going to the JUCO route. You end up going to Northwest Mississippi Community.
yeah.
Talk through that experience if you don't mind. Like you coming out of high school and landing there.
Okay, so going into junior college, I actually played offense. I was an H-back.
What?
So
Okay.
yeah, I was an H-back. I played along with a few guys that I still have a great friendship with. One specifically, Provanja Wells. Me and him, we played the same position, and it was just it was a phenomenal time just being able to be there and being able to explore my playing career and understand more about football.
Yeah, I mean, dude, that's a lot different than where you are now because you're certainly an edge rusher, and a pretty good one at that. If people haven't seen you yet, um, so H back, obviously H back tight end, so to speak, and
Correct.
How in the world did you make that transition to defense?
Uh, so the funny story, going into my sophomore year at Northwest, I went to a camp at Delta State, and I was going to the camp as a DN and an outside linebacker. And I end up meeting Coach Cooley and his wife, and I end up helping her. She was toting a tote of t-shirts. I end up helping her tote some t-shirts, and Coach Cooley saw me, and he was like, "I like his character. I gotta have him." After he had saw me perform and everything.
So, but obviously at that time you were being recruited as an edge rusher. So
No, at that time I still was playing H back. I was trying to transition back to defense, and I went to the camp as an H back.
gotcha. So you didn't transition to an edge rusher until you hit Delta State.
Yes, in 2018.
Interesting. So again, Northwest Mississippi, JUCO. JUCO is a little different for people, man. I think that's the one place where it really challenges what you and as to whether or not you truly love the game. It is a little bit of a grind, a little bit different, I would say, than perhaps being at a higher level institution. Um, what else did you get from your time in JUCO before we move on? Anything else about you that kind of helped shape you as a person?
Um, I would say I found my drive as for why I wanted to play football, and just my drive is for why I am the person I am today. I took everything more serious as far as the weight room, on the field, and everything. It just was knowing that I'm not the only one here that can play. Like, everybody's coming to play.
Yeah, and again, you kind of get this drive going, and you land at Delta State, D2 program where you really excelled as an edge rusher. I know at one point ended up being probably the best guy in your conference, being first team all conference there, and kind of started to get on some people's radar, man. NFL teams were really looking at you, and I mean, we're looking at a guy with some good size. So, Tim, what's your current height and weight these days? Can I ask that?
I'm currently 6'3" and a half. I'm roughly like 270.
Yeah, so like 6'3" and a half, 270. And in my notes, I also have that you have an 80-inch wingspan, which is actually really good for an edge rusher. I know that's one of the things that scouts look for. They look for body types. They look for guys with great length, where they can implement that, as an edge rusher, which is great. So yeah, like you said, you ended up being a good Samaritan, and you ended up getting an opportunity with Delta State. So talk to me about that transition, you coming in, playing for them, and how that was maybe different than your time in JUCO.
Okay, so coming into 2018, the fall, it actually is weird because when I first started playing, I wasn't ready to play defense again. So I was like, I tried to, like, coach, I can go back to offense. And then he was like, why you want to go back? I was like, he didn't know that I played offense. So I was like, coach, I ain't played defense in a while, but he was like, just stick with it. At the time, my coach was Kelvin Green, who's now at Arkansas State at the Razorbacks. He was my defensive line coach, and just working with him along with the host of other guys, called ourselves the Trench Dogs, and we just kept working day in and day out, and it just molded me into being the person that I became.
Yeah, and I mean, again, you end up solidifying yourself there as really one of their top defensive linemen, one of their top defensive players. But if people don't know, Delta State over the years has been able to bring in a lot of solid players. They bring in a lot of great transfers like yourself. Um, Give me maybe a name or two. Who impressed you the most during your time there at Delta?
Uh, are we speaking defensively or offensively?
Just in general, dude, because I know there's a lot of guys that come in.
I would say I had a teammate named Marvin Terry.
I remember him.
Yeah, just playing alongside him motivated me. It was just his drive and the way he carried himself on the field and off the field. It was different because you don't really see a lot of guys that come in and just want to grind and want to have it all.
I mean, definitely good to have a guy like him to help. You know, you motivate each other. You get there in the trenches, and you end up dominating there on the defensive line. Um, Great. So, eventually, what happens, man, is a bit of adversity. Let's just face it. You know, COVID sucks for everybody. That happens, which kills seasons and stuff like that. And then, of course, we move on and we keep going during your time there at Delta, and you hit with something that maybe challenges you somewhat as a person player. But I will say, you know, it's really, you know, how you respond to adversity that really shows what your true character is. So, talk us through that time for you.
Um, I want to say going into my senior year, so which would have been the fall of 2022. It was roughly like third game in playing against Mississippi Valley. First go out warming up, I feel good, and just go out on the first play. The quarterback pulls like he pump fakes as if he was throwing to a receiver and slide behind me. I jump. The offensive lineman he kind of pushed me a little while I was in the air, came down on my right leg, and I heard a pop. So initially, my hands went from trying to block it to grabbing my knee. So I'm just laying there on the ground, like, and I was just like, man, something ain't right. So the trainers and all come over. They ask me what's wrong. I'm telling them. So I get up and I jog out the field. I'm thinking I'm good. So we go in the tent, and I asked them, I was like, if y'all pop my knee back, I'd be good. Because I thought I just had popped it, just, I guess, out of place and thought I was going to be able to pop it back in. So once they was doing the test on my knee and everything, and they I heard it pop again. So I jumped up off the table. I said, I'm good. And I went to like run, and I was like, I ain't good. So I went back to the table. And then they asked me, they said, what you want to do? I said, I'm gonna keep playing. So I kept playing. I remember going back in the game, and it was a bad snap, and I saw the ball, then I saw the quarterback. And some part of me was like, get the ball. But I was like, no, I got to make a statement. So I just hit the quarterback. We recovered the fumble, and I ended up jumping. And in the midst of me jumping, when I came down, it popped again. So I was like, nah, this ain't good. So I just went back to the sideline. I sat down, and then I remember one of my teammates coming over to me because like I guess he saw it on my face because like I had put my helmet down and I had my head under my jersey. And he was like, come on with the team. You're gonna be good. We're gonna have you back next week. And it was just his drive and his want to that pulled me through. And I even went back in the game to finish, but me knowing that was gonna be my last game of that year.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, ACL injury 2022 ended that abruptly for you against Mississippi Valley State, which is kind of ironic because you end up transferring there. But yeah, I mean, tough ordeal, you know, going through that. But you know, sometimes it's better for you all around to kind of go through that, you know, just maybe get a little bit more appreciation for the game. You know, understand you know, things like perspective and things of that nature. But Tim, you obviously had the drive and determination to get back, get healthy, and I know you want to get back out there and finish what you started, and play some ball. And you know, you end up getting healthy, and you're in this position where you have another year, and you decided to transfer. And that transfer, you ended up landing at Mississippi Valley again, the against people that obviously, I don't know, man. Sound like a bad memory or something, but that's where you ended up landing. So, how in the world did that work out?
Honestly, when I first got there, I would always look at the field. It's like I remember the exact spot I would always go to it and just look. And everybody would ask, they was like, "You the one who got hurt against us?" I was like, "Yeah, that was me." But honestly, just being there, it taught me a lot. It taught me that you can go from being on top of the world, feeling like you got everything, to having to start all over. And it gave me a different drive and a different want.
Right. But so again, now you have transferred to Mississippi Valley. So you get there, a little bit different environment. You are now at a Division I school versus obviously a Delta State. So a little different, somewhat different overall competition. How did that transfer work for you, man? Like just moving from one defense to another, and maybe perhaps your overall competition. How did you adjust to it?
Adjusting into the defense in which we played at Mississippi Valley at first, it was kind of rocky for me just learning all the plays over. But once I learned them, which didn't really take me long, maybe a week or two in the fall camp, I was caught up. Had to go in and just start from day one, from just going in and working. The competition, I actually had a teammate over there who I had to go against on the offensive line from Heat. Me and him both played at Delta State as well. His name is Rodney Luckett. And I think me and him just working against each other, not only him going against the other guys on the O line, it helped me build my confidence of knowing that I can still perform even with everything I dealt with my leg injury.
I mean, you got yourself healthy, and then you were able to get out there and do a good job. Obviously, maybe not as ideal, but you did go out there. You were healthy. You were practicing, and you made it work. You end up going out there and finishing strong there with Mississippi Valley State. Um, so I guess one of the questions is right now is what are you doing right now? Like, are you training, or are you at a facility? Are you working with any trainers, coaches, or how are you preparing yourself for maybe perhaps an upcoming pro day?
But now I'm currently training. I work out with a guy named Justin Levy. We do speed mechanics. Then we go to the 24/7 gym. We work on power, explosive type of movements. We also just run. We go to a place where we call it levee, and it's actually the levee. It's a hill. You got a concrete slab. You got grass. You got an open field. It just basically finding a way when it seems to be no way. We just go out and just get work in.
Cool. So uh, obviously working now, is there any particular part of your game that you're trying to get better at?
Um, just me personally, I want to increase my gameplay overall, my my power, my finesse. I want to increase it all.
Yeah, I mean, I do feel like there is a lot that that you have going for you as a prospect. I mean, despite maybe perhaps these past couple seasons not being ideal for you, overcoming adversity due to injury and things of that nature, and transferring and adjusting and that sort of thing. I still think that you have a lot going for you. Again, some great size. Other than that, man, is there anything else about you that you feel separates you from other prospects?
Uh, just honestly, just getting. For me, I feel like I just want to. If I get the opportunity, the rest I can handle. As my former coach used to tell me, all you need is an invite to the dance. You can handle the rest.
Gotcha. Cool. So, I mean, again, maybe perhaps, things haven't worked out for you as of late, but I know you've had some great memories, man. Can you maybe perhaps walk me through your best memory, as a collegiate football player. Maybe one of those great sacks. Maybe one where you're not landing awkwardly.
Um, Going back to the my junior season of 2021, just going. It was the first game of the year. Going out, we were playing against I want to say Bethel University. No, I'm gonna go back a little further. A little further, it would have been my sophomore year in 2019. Just going out, my defense coordinator, Coach Kevin Green, he called me up to go in on a third and long. We were playing against, I want to say, West Georgia, and he told me we needed a sack. And I just went in the game and I did what I was coached to do. Went through my technique and I wrapped around the edge, and quarterback he tried to roll out, and I caught him. And it was just an exciting moment because I knew then that my coach actually had trust in me.
That's cool. I mean, it's not often that you kind of call your shot. You know, that's kind of nice to be able to do that as a player. To be able to say, "I'm going to go out there and I'm going to get a sack for you, coach," because that's what you want. That's what you asked me to do. Definitely kind of cool. Um, Tim, our time is getting up there, so I mean, I do want to wrap up here very shortly. But before we do, is there anything else about you that you feel people need to know? Who is it? Who are you? I guess perhaps under the helmet. Maybe something that you haven't shared yet about yourself that others might find interesting.
Many people see me and think, "Oh, he's a big mean person," or "He's just this guy that don't really care for nobody." But that's not. That's the football side because you can't really be nice on a football field. But I'm actually a family oriented. I like to hang out with my family, hang out with people who just like to have a good time, a good vibe. Whether it's we sitting outside cooking or just outside with our family members. I'm not no stuck up person or nothing. I don't carry myself higher than no one else.
I mean, you have this like calm demeanor, like kind of a Southern comfort kind of vibe. Obviously, if you kind of get what I'm getting at, but obviously, things change once you get on the field, man. It's like you turn into like the Incredible Hulk or something. You flick that switch where you can be a mean person for players. So you know what I mean.
Most
Um,
definitely.
cool. So, Tim, obviously want to wrap up our time. This has been fun, just kind of hanging out with you. But I know that there's some scouts that are wondering about you that have been on top of you for a long time and might want you at the next level. So, go ahead and tell them what they would be getting if they took a chance on you. Tell them why they need to do that and give them your pitch and close us out.
Um, I feel that if I get the opportunity to come before you and in any way, form, or fashion to showcase anything, I feel like you won't regret the chance in which you're giving me. Um, I I feel like my athleticism, not only that, but my companionship as a teammate with my teammates will help build and make a locker room stronger. And it's a lot that I can learn from them, and not only learning from my teammates as growing on the football field, but growing as a man. Um, it's just I just need a chance.
And really that's all you need. I mean, you get a lot going for you, some great size, some good overall experience, showing grit and determination, getting yourself healthy again, and ready to go, and perhaps make that leap to the pros here very soon. Again, I got to highlight it, man, because I think it's pretty good, and that is pretty good wingspan, and so you'll be able to utilize that as an edge rusher, being able to flick that switch and be that mean guy when you want to on the field, but certainly a pretty nice guy off the field as well. So it's been a good time talking to you.
I appreciate it, Jimmy.
All right. Once again, we got with us Timothy Williams Jr. He's an edge rusher out of Mississippi Valley State, formerly out of Delta State. Check him out.